Morning, everyone. Welcome to our session. Before we begin, we're just starting now, but before we begin, it'd be good to know maybe what uni you're from, your name, and also what you study. Maybe you want to pop it in the chat, just so we can get to know you all a little bit better. Okay. I guess people are a little bit shy. That's all right. Maybe I'll just tell a little bit about myself. So for me, I went to UNSW and I did commerce and information systems, and I majored in finance. If there's anyone else from UNSW on the call, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. I'll just begin now with our first session for Microsoft Student Accelerator. If this is your first time attending our sessions, welcome. We hold our sessions monthly on every first Friday of the month, and we're just kicking off our first session for the year. As we all know, you probably just got back to uni, so we thought this would be a timely month to be hosting our first session. Before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and their continuing connection to our community. We pay respect to them, their culture, to the elders, both past and present. And just some live captions and transcription around some housekeeping rules. So if you do want to use live captions, there is a setting on the top of Microsoft Teams, just under that more button, and also just under language and speech. You can click on live captions to follow along if that is also something you want to do. And then you can also choose the color, position, and style that you want to see your captions in. So today I am hosting the session. So I'm Chloe. I'm the Copilot technical specialist, or also known as a solution engineer now. So I cover all things around AI in terms of M365 Copilot, into now around Copilot Studio and agents. So I breathe in and breathe out AI every single day, and I'm constantly talking to customers about it and bringing them along the journey to AI. A little bit about our agenda for today. We have our wonderful guests, Jen, Ella, and also Sanvi, who will be talking about around some of the basics around how to prompt. So this session is all around AI, since this is the hottest topic the last couple of years. So they'll be going through AI for studying. So whether that is around making notes, creating study guides, and how you can use Copilot for that. And then also going into agent builder, so bringing your lightweight agents to help you study, and also create.
I've done security training, but all that security training was just basically how to use Objective so far. So there was nothing about Soup.
Just me that, sorry. And then we'll also go into AI for job readiness. So how can you use Copilot to help craft your resume and also preparing for interviews? I know for me, when I applied for Microsoft, I used things like the job description, I used my resume, and I used Copilot to help me prepare for the interviews, crafting up some sample answers, and also just enhance my resume. And then we'll go into Q&A. So if you have any questions for Sanvi, Ella, myself, or Jen, feel free to drop them in the chat, or also come off mute during that Q&A session. I've just got a couple of slides that I'll just run through really quickly. The first thing is around the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. If you do wish to become ambassador, there is just a link on the bottom of the screen. And if you are new to this, it is a program that's designed for students that are passionate about technology and just eager to share your knowledge about tech to other people. You'll be able to develop your leadership skills, your technical skills, and then also work on AI-driven projects as well, through doing things like setting up workshops and then also creating video tutorials. I'd also want to highlight some of the other things as well. So we've got something called the Microsoft Student Hub, which contains a ton of free resources, and some of them are listed on here. A key call out is that for developers, there is a GitHub student development pack, and it's a fantastic resource if you're eager to learn a bit more about software development and then also just practice your skills. You'll also notice that there is also a student certifications hub there as well. All our sessions are also recorded and they will also be uploaded on Michelle Sanford's YouTube channel. So if there's anything you want to play back or rewatch again, you can just watch them up on this YouTube channel, which we typically post a couple of days after our session. And then just also on the bottom of the screen there under MSA Tech, there are also some links to our technical sessions that we hold if you are studying, I guess, more of a technical degree or keen on software development as well. Last couple of things, we have the Microsoft Source newsletter. So this is curated content for the developer community. So if you're interested in learning about new technologies and want to find opportunities to connect with other developers, this is a really good way. You'll find information about things like hackathons, technical training, and also global developer conferences. So I'll just leave that QR code up on the screen if you want to scan that. But there's also a link at the bottom of the slide there. And lastly, if you are keen to keep up to date with what's coming, we also have Facebook and LinkedIn groups. So watch your emails and also the Facebook page for any updates. This is where you'll find all the announcements that we have for different events, different learning opportunities, and any workshops that we hold as well. And because our sessions are typically online, we do also hold in-person events. So the Melbourne team does hold in-person events. And as for Sydney as well, we held a mock interview session last year at the Microsoft office in North Sydney. So keep out for any of our in-person events that we have during the year too. Right, so now I will pass it over to our wonderful presenters, Jennifer and Sandy, for the main part of our session around prompting, how can you use AI for studying, and then also for your job applications. I'll pass it over to Jen and Sandy. Do you want me to continue share screening or do you want to take control?
Yeah, feel free to continue share screening and I can switch over when I do my demo. But by the way of introductions, my name is Jen and I am a Copilot Cloud Solution Architect at Microsoft. So think Microsoft M365 Copilot and building agents as well. I've been at Microsoft now for 5 years and I actually started my career here as an intern. This was before really the hype of generative AI existed when I applied for my internship. And then after I was an intern for a year, I transitioned into a grad role and now I'm in this role right now. So yeah, I'm here to kind of talk us through how to get the most out of prompting. I'm sure a lot of you might have heard the terminology around prompt engineering as well. And then I'll be taking us through a little bit around how you can use prompting to get the most out of your studies. And now I'll pass on to Sanvi, who will be doing the more interesting part of the presentation, which is really about using AI for your job.
Hi everyone, my name is Sanvi and I'm in the Cloud and AI Platforms team as a specialist. So I look at all things Azure, Foundry, GitHub Copilot, and things like that. I actually joined very recently as well. So I know the process of applying to jobs and how we can basically streamline that process using AI as well. So I'll basically be going through how we can use Copilot to help keep our resume up to date while we're applying to many applications, as well as how we can use it to also prepare for interviews.
Awesome. Thanks, Sanvi. So firstly, I'll be going through prompting 101, how to get the most out of prompting, and then going into the examples around using AI for studies. So have any of you guys heard of vibe coding or vibe working? Just raise your hand if you have. Okay. So some people have heard of it. For those who haven't, if you just go to the next slide, Chloe, vibe coding or vibe working basically refers to using an AI companion tool such as GitHub Copilot or M365 Copilot to help you generate different assets for your day job, whether that be code or Word documents or different emails when you're doing your flow of work. And it can also be applied to, I guess, studies as well. Although you will need to look into your high institutions, educational and AI policies to understand how best to use that in the flow of your studies. So if we just go to the next slide, Chloe. There's a huge demand for people with skills in being able to prompt effectively and use AI in the flow of their work. So the demand for prompt engineers has grown 135.8% in 2025, making it one of the fastest rising AI-related skill areas. So the ability to talk to AI and what we call prompts with AI is become super important skill set in a lot of jobs. And I know here at Microsoft, it's something that is really much so encouraged, and it's also a muscle that you need to develop up by continuously using AI and prompting and communicating with AI as well. Next slide, please. So this is a bit of a disclaimer. As I mentioned before, there is different ways to use AI in a responsible manner in academics. So for example, being able to use it to generate study notes and being able to help you practice for exams. And then I guess a not so good use of AI would be to generate your actual assignments and so on and so forth. So it's really important to refer back to your educational institution's AI policies when it comes to using any AI tool in the flow of what you're doing in academics, including putting in materials into any AI tool as well. So just a bit of disclaimer around that. Next slide. So a lot of the examples that I'll be showcasing today are kind of agnostic to what regardless of what degree you're doing. So whether you're doing a comp sci degree or a business degree or whatnot, everyone can kind of benefit from the examples that I'm giving today. And I'll be doing them using Copilot Chat. And I've just chucked a link into Copilot Chat into the chat function here. But essentially, Copilot Chat has 4 different elements. Firstly, a choice of large language models, whether that be OpenAI's GPT models or Anthropic models. You can upload your own files in there. It's got data protection, and also it exists within your M365 applications as well. So that's basically what Copilot Chat is. And if you go to the next slide, basically you can use the link that I've put into the chat or the one that's on your screen here and log in with your student account. And your student account will be protected by EDP or Enterprise Data Protection. And what that is some guarantees around how your data would be used in Copilot Chat. And you know that you're protected by Enterprise Data Protection by having that little green tick show up on the top right-hand corner of your screen. So you can see on the slide here, there's this little green shield on the top right corner of this person's screen. You also get unlimited prompts when you use Copilot Chat as well. And Chloe, if you go to the next slide, it's a good use case for studies because in Copilot Chat, your data is encrypted and secure at rest and in transit, and your data is not used to train or enrich any of the foundation models, which is an important point to note when we're talking about education and studies. Because if you upload things such as lecture documents into Copilot Chat, that material that's developed by your university won't be used to train the foundation models as well. Cool. So feel free to click on the link and follow along as we go through this presentation. But now I'll just be going into how you can use AI as your study companion. So one framework that we often use at Microsoft is the GCSE framework. Just show of hands from, I guess, everyone here, if you've ever ordered a coffee and you've got the wrong thing. Yep, I see some hands up. So I definitely have. I ordered an iced latte last week from a cafe at the airport, and then they gave me an iced latte, but it had ice cream in it and it came with crushed ice. So it was more like a frappuccino. So sometimes when we're communicating, I guess just amongst humans, it's really important to be specific about what you want. Like, for example, I want an iced latte, but I don't want any sugar in it. I just want one shot and I just want it to be milk and coffee, things like that. And it's the same when you're using an AI tool such as Copilot or any AI tool for that matter. So there are different frameworks that have been developed, and one is the GCSE framework. And Chloe, if you just build up this entire slide, GCSE stands for goal, context, source, and expectation. And this is something that, oh, yeah, keep building it out. I think there's a few more clicks. Oh, no. Interesting. Maybe I'll just share the slide itself in the chat window here as a screenshot for everyone to see on this call. But whilst I'm sharing that, trying to get that up, this is basically a framework which can be used to get the most out of a prompt and communicating with AI. The G stands, just imagine that the first column stands for G. There we go. So G stands for goal. So this is basically what response do you want from Copilot? Meaning what is the overall goal that you're trying to achieve? C stands for context. And context is basically why do you need it and who is involved. So the more context that you're able to give to an AI tool, the better in terms of who you are. So are you for example, a business analyst or a uni student that's studying Java 101 as a first year subject? Are you a doctor? Whatever it might be, just explaining who you are and the context behind your requests. Like, do you have a presentation that's due in a week? Any additional information is helpful for the AI tool. S stands for source. So source basically includes any sources or links or PDFs or documents that you can attach to your prompt. And that's really helpful in giving that additional context to an AI tool as well. And E stands for expectations. So how could any AI tool best meet your expectations? Do you want things in long paragraphs or in a certain coding language or in bullet points, things like that? So that's the GCSE framework. And if we look into specific examples of what this might look like, Chloe, if you just go to the next slide, it might look like this. So I work in marketing and focus on competitive research. So that's basically you telling the AI tool your context. What do you do? Who are you? And that's really important in giving it that overall background into your prompt. And feel free to put any questions in the chat, by the way. I see someone's got their hand up. But if you have any questions as we go along, put them into the chat too. Next, we have goals. So what response do you want from Copilot? So in this case, it's to give a concise summary of recent news about a certain company. The source here is to focus on web articles from the last 2 months. So we're really telling it, don't go any further back than the last 2 months. We want the articles to be quite recent. And lastly, we have provide the answer in 2 to 3 paragraphs and use a business tone. So that's kind of the expectation that we're asking of AI. But it could really apply to anything. You can use it. This is actually quite a good prompt to use if you change it up for applying for jobs, just getting the main updates and research about, for example, if you're applying for Microsoft. But that's just an example of having all the right ingredients to really help yourself communicate effectively with AI. And I know it's something that we're really trying to develop that muscle out at Microsoft as well. I'll pop that prompt into the chat in case you want to use it. Another example that could be useful in your studies is this one here. I'll pop it into the chat later as well, so feel free to try and use it. But I'm a first-year university student studying macroeconomics. I want notes that are concise yet complete. the expectations, and this is what I've developed myself because this is a prompt that would be helpful for me in terms of how I learn best. But usually I want structured notes with headings that match the actual lecture flow of the slides that I've been given by my lecturer. I want the AI tool to define key terms in plain English, include examples mentioned in the lecture. I feel like examples always bring things to life the best. End each section with 2 to 3 quick check your understanding questions and provide a 1-page summary at the end of just everything that's been included in that lecture slide. I find that it's actually really helpful, especially if you're getting multiple lecture slides, or if you're getting lecture slides that are like 50, 100 slides in a PDF form. A really good and quick way just to convert that into something that is editable and readable. And lastly, we have the source, which is the lecture content or reading attached. So only using that source so that you're giving the AI tool no ability to hallucinate or to look at other sources from the internet as well. So if we go to the next slide, Chloe, I've just got some more tips from what I've seen when I'm educating customers on this subject. But basically, these are some things to ask yourself when you're prompting. So why are you prompting? What will you do with the output? Can I extend Copilot's remit to save more time? So instead of giving it a small task, can you ask AI to do more and more tasks and include them in a singular prompt, or include them in multiple chats, multiple, I guess, conversations with the AI tool? And lastly, just experiment. There's always going to be new examples that you might get from your peers or your co-workers when you're in the workforce. So share those out, and you can really become like a champion for using AI. And I think that's something that's often quite recognized, especially for those who are early in careers and just starting off their, I guess, career journey, because like we are native in AI and good users of it in general. So don't be afraid to share those examples with your co-workers. They could be really surprised in terms of like how you're using AI in general. Cool. So let's get into the better part, which is some of the demos. So I'll share my screen now. Where are we? Cool. So I've logged into like my AI tool of preference, which is Copilot, and we've got like the main box in here. So the first prompt that I showed before is this one of the prompts. So convert this lecture document into exam-ready notes. This person's studying macroeconomics, and we want the clear structured notes, defining key terms in plain English, including examples, the 2 to 3 checking your understanding questions, and then providing a 1-page summary at the end. Cool. So I am going to upload some documents. Some ones that I'm going to upload include a transcript of the lecture recording from my lecturer, and also the notes as well. So those are the 2 things I'm going to upload in here. And again, you can really kind of tailor this based on what you need for your studies as well. Okay, cool. And basically what the AI tool is asking me, and you'll see this quite often with tools, especially with Copilot Chat, is that it will ask clarification questions. So it's actually communicating back to me in terms of what I might want to see. So it's saying that option A is use the lecture transcript only, and option B is to use the PDF, or option C is to combine both. So let's choose C. Cool. So it understands what to do in terms of everything that I've given it. It's asking for the style in terms of how long I want it. So I'm just going to go 1. And it will basically generate that out. Yep. So first concept, some check your understanding questions. Yeah, and it's also aligned each piece to the transcript as well in terms of the timing. So I can look back at the transcript if you have timings in that, and also what part of the PDF each section refers to as well. That's very handy when you're going back or you want to refer to the actual sources of information given. And at the end, it's given that 1-page overall summary. Awesome. So I wanted to show you something else, which is available in a lot of different AI tools, including Copilot, but it's the ability to basically create agents as well. And for those who don't know, an agent is basically an AI tool which helps people to be able to get questions on a specific subject. So when you have a retrieval agent, you're able to, in the background, put in custom information and also focus it on a certain set of information that you're giving it as well. So in Copilot chat, if you're following along with the demo, oh, actually, let me just give you the prompt for this as well, so anyone can use it. So you just go to the pane on the left side of the screen and you click on New Agent, and you're able to use templates in here. There's one called a prompt coach, and essentially what a template is in an agent is a way to pre-populate different skill sets that you're giving to the agent. So in this case, for prompt coach, it has the ability to write prompts effectively. So when we're talking about being able to write prompts effectively, this is something that can help you as a skill. Oh, I think it's glitching out a bit. It's having a bad day. Let's try this again. So with a lot of AI agents, one thing that you can do with it is kind of edit the skill sets. So for this AI agent, the purpose is to help people write better prompts. The goals of the agent is to understand the requests, ask for different components of the GCSE framework, and also to generate a really well-formed prompt that is going to meet these needs as well. So it's got quite a lot of instructions in the background. And you're also, as I mentioned before, able to change up the prompt in here. So if you only, for example, wanted to give prompts about a certain subject, like first year economics or something, that's something you can add into the instructions as well. And you can test it and then, like, for example, ask it to write a good prompt about studying and things like that. Based on this tool here, I actually created a prompt that looks like this. Let me just share a prompt. So this is the prompt that I created, which is create a study companion. The primary goal is to turn course materials into learning outputs, retrieval-based practice. The tone is supportive, a supportive tutor. It uses different types of information, such as lecture slides, tutorials, and textbooks as inputs. And it's got some core skills, such as building lecture notes, flashcards, assignment coaching, and concept explaining as well. So it can either, for example, develop out quizzes based on, I guess, lecture recordings that you're giving it, sample quizzes, or explain concepts to you. So it's got a lot of things that it can do. So I'm just going to copy and paste this really long prompt into my overall chat function. So I've basically given this prompt a lot of different skill sets in the background. Yeah, so basically Copilot understands that this is a tool that I want to use that has different skills in the background, and let's put it to use. So firstly, I'm going to ask Copilot to please create some sample questions for me to practice my understanding of these concepts. So in the background, I'm going to upload these practice questions, and let's just have a look at what they are. Not sure if I can do that, but I'll upload them here. And let's see what it does with creating some more practice questions. And by the way, I'm also opening the document of what those practice questions look like. So this was something that was given to me by my tutor in terms of practice questions that I had to answer for an exam. And now I'm just generating some more so I can practice further. So it's done that. Cool. Let's just say I don't understand question 3A here. Can you help me on where to start? So now you can kind of see I'm using it as a personal tutor in terms of actually helping me on where to start and how to actually get through this question. Okay, so I know that in economics, there's a lot of, I guess, diagrams in terms of supply and demand. So let's ask it for a diagram. And it's just creating that out now. Cool. And lastly, I can also ask it to create a 30-minute revision plan and a 2-hour deep study session as well. Just in the, I guess, interest of time, I do want to give some time to Sanvi. So I'll put this prompt into the chat and I'll let Sanvi take over. And I'll put the response to this prompt that I'm doing into the chat as well so people can see. But thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so 1 second, let me just take over. Sorry.
Bless you.
Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, amazing. So we're going to be looking at how we can actually use Copilot to tailor our resume for different jobs or job descriptions that we're applying to. So for example, this is a dummy resume that I'm using over here, which is like around 1 page long. It has a few experiences, skills, and activities. And let's say I'm thinking of applying to a job at Microsoft. So I came across this job description. And what I did is that I took this job description and I copied it down here. So, and I only copied the key aspects, such as the overview, the role summary, the responsibilities, as well as any qualifications that are required. And then what we can actually do is write a Copilot prompt, something similar to this, which will actually review the existing resume and enhance it based on the job description, as well as it will make it optimized for the applicant tracking system. So I'm not too sure how many of you are aware, but these days, a lot of your resumes initially aren't actually screened by the HR or the recruiter. It's actually screened by an applicant tracking system, which filters out more than 50 to 60% of the resume. So it's very important that when you're applying, it is built, your resume is tailored to match that. And basically what the applicant tracking system means is that it has, it looks at keywords from the job descriptions and if they're available in the resume or not. So it can be keywords, any descriptions, the formatting, and the structuring as well. So now what we can do is we can basically copy this prompt and we can ask Copilot to update our resume. So what I'll just do is copy this prompt in. And then we can just use the Copilot chat on the side and then add in okay. Okay. Yep. So if once I do put in the prompt, it will basically return. So for example, I've entered in the prompt over here. And then what it will return is it will basically return an ATS optimized resume for this role. So as you can see, it has updated the professional summary. So compared to what we had, it has made it much longer and yep, so hopefully you can see this. Yep, so as we can see, it has made the professional summary much longer and tailored it to exactly to the role. It has tailored it exactly to the role. And it has also used keywords embedded for ATS. So as you can see, it has used keywords like security sales, Microsoft Cloud, Zero Trust, and made sure that these keywords are already embedded in from the job description into the resume itself. It has also identified any core skills that you should be stating so that it will be easy for the applicant tracking system or the recruiter to see that, oh, this person has some key skills that are tailored to the role, looking at the current resume itself. And then what it has also done is it has updated the professional experience to be much more tailored towards what the role is. So but for example, over here, we only have one line, but what it has done is that it has actually split your work into multiple lines and tailored it towards what the job description would like to see. And yeah, so it has basically restructured and made sure that the resume matches what the job description is stating. And this is something which can be done quite a few times. So instead of you manually changing things and manually making updates to your resume when you're applying to, let's say, tons and thousands of jobs, what you can use by using this process, it just streamlines it a lot more. And you can have one master copy, and then using Copilot, you can basically adapt it according to the different job descriptions that you're looking at. So now let's assume that we applied and we successfully passed the interview stage. We successfully passed the screening stage, and now we're at the interview stage. So even at this stage, we can quite well use Copilot to practice for interviews as well. So for example, what we can use is a prompt like this. So for example, this prompt is telling us that help me practice interview questions for the security sales specialist role. Generate a mix of behavioral, situational, and technical questions based on the job description, emphasizing sales excellence, security solution expertise, and also looking at Microsoft's culture, priorities, and continuous learning in cybersecurity. So what we can do now is copy this prompt, and we can use the Copilot chat over here and basically put this in the role, put this in the chat box, and just send it in. And because Copilot already has seen the resume, has seen the job description, it can actually tailor answers according to what's already in your resume, and then also use the job description to come up with answers which are most suitable for this role. So as you can see, it has returned behavioral questions. It has told you what are they testing for these behavioral questions? Like they're looking at demand creation, customer obsession, ability to reframe conversations around risk and outcomes. It's also looking at describe a time you worked across multiple teams to close a deal. So they're looking at what they're testing is your orchestration skills, your sales execution discipline. So you can see how they're actually giving you these different questions and also telling you, how to answer them, what they're testing, and strong tips as well. And other than behavioral, they're also returning situational interview questions. So what situations, like it'll looking at the job description, you'll look at, what situations might come up in this role and what they want to ask you. So that is also very, very important. Yeah, so this is an example of how you can actually use AI to practice for your interview as well. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show it today, but another thing you can also do is, let's say, you actually are ready to practice, you're actually ready to practice answering these questions, you can even use the dictation mode over here and actually speak out your answer and then ask Copilot to give it a rating. So how well did I do? Did I match the requirements of the question? Did I actually answer what they're testing? Did I give any strong signals? So this is also a way you can use Copilot to back and forth actually practice different questions, and even actually role play as the interviewer and interviewee as well. And let's say if you're confused about any certain question. So I want example answers for behavioral questions such as introducing myself and my why Microsoft. So because these are questions which always come across in interviews, especially in behavioral interviews where they want to know more about yourself and why you actually want to work at the company. You can use Copilot to actually give you draft answers as well. So for example, tell me about yourself. What it will do is similarly look at your resume and look at your current background and then come up with a draft answer, which is around 60 to 90 seconds. And basically you can use this and build upon this yourself as well. And it will format it in such a way which is crisp and clear as well. And even, for example, why Microsoft? Because it will have information about Microsoft's values, cultures, and what they're looking for. It will also give you an answer matching what Microsoft looks for as well in its candidates. So yeah, this is a good example of how you can use Copilot to prepare for your resume and your application process as well. And now what I'll do is I'll also add in these prompts in the chat as well, so you can take a look. You can use these prompts as well. Thank you, everyone.
There's a question in the chat, so I'll quickly address it. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yes? Yeah, okay, cool. So the question was, is it safe to use generated resumes using AI? I would say that one way to, because sometimes when you use AI, it has like a certain flavor to it, right? In Copilot chat, if you go to the link that I sent you and you go to settings and then you go down to personalization, there's something called custom instructions, and you can put certain custom instructions like that. So one telltale sign that something's generated by AI is it's got that dash. I'm sure you guys know what I'm referring to. So you can ask it to, don't put those in, for example. Speak in Australian English. Keep your sentences short. You can put those custom instructions into this tool here, and all the instructions will apply to Word, wherever, Outlook, wherever you're using Copilot chat as well. So that's one way to kind of tailor it to your own voice or how you would sound, and you just add those instructions in there.
I'd also just want to add on to that as well. With AI, especially with Copilot, we do call it Copilot, so it's not autopilot. So we definitely do recommend to use AI to enhance what you have already with your resume rather than creating a new one. As Jen said, sometimes with AI generated responses, it does come with a few things that gives it that AI flavor. So yeah, we definitely recommend double checking AI generate responses and using it to enhance what you've already got rather than using it as like a pretty much like a final draft per se.
Yep, agreed. Like I would also say that make sure that whatever it does generate, make sure that you've read it, like you've gone through it and read it a few times as well before you add it into your resume itself, so that it doesn't look too unrealistic, or it should actually match what you've already been doing, and it should make sure that it's not generating anything fake or unreal as well.
All right. Anything else, Jen and Sanvi, before we go into Q&A?
That's all from me.
Right. Thanks so much, Jen and Sammy. That was an awesome session around the demos. I'm sure the students took a lot away from that. I know for me, when I first was dealing with applying for Microsoft, I was like, oh, how can I use AI? And I think hiring managers do appreciate that, because especially from Microsoft, where we are an AI first company, they definitely do appreciate that you are using AI and developing those habits every day. All right. I'll leave this time now for Q&A. Feel free to come off mute, or if you want to drop a question in the chat, also feel free to. I know we are just on time, but I think Jan, Sandy, and I are happy to stay on for longer if you do have any questions about the session, anything about Microsoft, AI, anything really. We're happy to answer questions.
We did we blew them away, Sandvi.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job, and I think we've also answered probably most of the questions in the chat. Oh,
Oh,
yep.
someone's going to mute.
Okay. Nope. All right. I'm just one last final thing. We do host our sessions every month, and we do have some topics that we're already planning to host for the next couple of months, but we'd also love to hear from you as well on what you'd like us to cover next in future sessions. So I've just got a survey link that I'll just pop in the chat. We would really love if you had any suggestions, whether it's related to career advice, whether it's related to more technical sessions, maybe if you're interested in software development or AI and machine learning, or interested in sales at Microsoft, we've got a whole load of content that we're happy to share. So feel free to drop your suggestions in that survey link that I've just posted in the chat. And I see a question from Peter around sharing the recording. So
Yep.
all of our sessions are recorded and we'll upload to Michelle Sanford's YouTube channel in the next couple of days.
Yep, and also please do share this session link with any of your uni friends or any of your uni societies as well, because we'd love to have as many people here as well, and hopefully we can also collaborate with university societies soon as well.
Awesome. That is it.